Good morning, everybody. At 10:01, we'll call to order our meeting for today. It's Tuesday, August 16th. If you would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, we will accept public comment for items that are not appearing on the agenda. Is there any public comments? Seeing and hearing none, we will accept public comment for items as they are under consideration. Any additions to the agenda needed at this time? No. Oh, okay, all right. Move forward with our proclamation. And the reason why we don't have minutes, we should mention, is we did have a meeting on Thursday, last Thursday, and we approved the minutes from our last meeting. So no minutes to approve today. So we'll jump right into our proclamation, number 27 of 2022. We're going to welcome up Lee Don Young. And Lee Don is a long-standing member of the Great Grange Fair. She is also the mayor of Center Hall. Yes. And so we welcome you, Lee Don, and we'd love to hear a little bit about the Grange. We know preparations are underway, as they are year-round, but more so this week. I look forward to kicking things off later this week. So good morning, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Last year, the theme was "We're Back," because of course, there was a slight hiatus. And so this year, it's "We're Back bigger than and better than ever." So wanted to tell everyone that we're getting prepared. We're all ready. Had a little bit of liquid sunshine yesterday, but that's not stopped us. So I don't know if people know, but when everyone is, before we open the gate to the first attendee, sitting there in 1,000 tents and 1,500 RVs, we have a population of about 10,000, so that we become your third largest city. So Center County gets a new city for a week every year. So, and of course, we have to provide all of the things that are necessary for that. And my borough, Center Hall, gets a little inundated with traffic and new folks, but we welcome them. We're delighted to have them. It's a good thing. Center Hall is of course, known for the Grange Fair, and that's a good thing to be known for, we think.
Absolutely. We are, the longstanding proclamation that we have done for decades now is something that we enjoy doing. It calls attention to the fair. We saw some great press leading up to the fair that preparations were underway. Looks like everybody is moving in successfully. We know the kickoff is going to be, or the opening ceremonies are this Friday evening, and we all look forward to going to that. But we love agriculture. We love the fact that the Grange is thriving, and it's going to be bigger and better than ever.
Well, we wanted to tell you about something we started 2 years ago. And that is partnering with not-for-profits to have them sell advance tickets, and they make money on that. And this year, we had some 35 fundraising partners, and that included schools, mainly PTAs, preschools, Granges, 4-H clubs, scouting groups, Relay for Life teams, Penns Valley YMCA, Bald Eagle United Methodist Church. And we contributed to those community organizations over $25,000. It was a grand fundraiser for them. It's something that hoagies are wonderful, but I think sometimes so that it's new and different. Everyone's delighted with it, and it's very popular. We have also started a program where if a community organization, not-for-profit again, has volunteers that come and work for us at the gates or in parking, we give $10 an hour to their organization. Last year, a Boy Scout troop in, I believe, Port Matilda earned over $1,000. So it's our way of not only do you enjoy the fair, but the fair is giving back, because we're well aware, and that's part of Grange, and that is contributing to the community. So not only can you come to see those 1,000 tents, 1,500 RVs, 300 concessions, 2 ride vendors, nationally known entertainers on the grandstand, over 7,000 items on exhibit, with a gate in excess at 200,000. It's the Great Grange Fair.
Couldn't have said it better.
Had to work that in.
Absolutely,
Sorry.
absolutely. Don, you're getting us all excited. We're excited.
Yes. Boy, I'm not sure I can top that, LaDon. But it is wonderful to see you here again. Wonderful that The Grange Fair Days are almost upon us. I know the Emporium's always good for a nice visit there, just off headquarters. And Center County government will have a tent just around the corner from the Emporium. So come learn about all the many different things our 53 different departments do to help make Center County a better place to live. And I just wanted to highlight that the Great Grange Fair shows us just how long we've had agricultural tourism in Center County.
Oh, absolutely. 1874,
Yes.
precisely. Well, actually, no, I have to correct you on that. We've had agricultural tourism with the enactment and the erection of Center County in 1800. You had the establishment of an agricultural society, and they started having the Center County Fair.
Oh, okay.
And Center County was, the Center County Fairgrounds were what is now your Bellefonte Sewer Authority, Red
Oh.
Bruce. It was famous, it had a wonderful racetrack.
I think they
And,
raced bicycles there, didn't they?
well, horses, and it was notorious because they allowed women to race horses. Bellefonte was way ahead of her time. So, Center County, I should say, because it was the, but I shouldn't say unfortunately, because we
Yeah.
benefited, but as the encampment and picnic, which is what it was called in 1874, as it grew, the Center County Fair sort of faded. People were going to, and I think there was a tad of a controversy with families because horse racing got to be a little,
Shady,
was
shall we say?
well, there was some funds exchanged, which
All right.
I think got a little, so that, but Center County has had agricultural tourism since 1800.
From the very beginning.
From the very, very beginning. Yes, all those iron ore people that came here, and again,
Yeah.
that's why we're here, but they had to be fed. And of
Yes.
course, that's been an integral part of Pennsylvania, and that's why, again, we attracted so many people to Center County because of our wonderful farmland.
Yes. Great, over 1,000 farms in Center County.
Exactly, exactly. But agro-tourism, we've been doing it
Yeah.
for, what now, 222 years?
222 years. It's as old as the county.
Exactly, exactly, sir.
Wonderful.
Well, we're so excited to join you at the South Side Stage, Friday, 7 o'clock for opening ceremonies, and we will bring the proclamation with us, so we'll hold on to that and bring it with us and present it there officially to everybody at that time. But to make this official, we'll look for a motion to adopt the proclamation.
An enthusiastic motion to adopt Proclamation Number 27 of 2022.
And I will second that. It's been moved and seconded to adopt the proclamation. Any final discussion or questions?
Well, Don, you said the fundraising is relatively new in terms of what you've done the last couple of years?
Yes, Darlene Confer, who is our general manager, and Amy Evans, who is our media and community relations staffer, decided that this would be an excellent way to help raise funds. And so they had anticipated the advanced sales. More and more people sort of wanted that, especially it was getting, believe it or not, they were getting lots of calls around Christmas time. Because what do you get grandma? And so they thought, well, let's organize this and we can make this and so they did. And last year is when it rolled out. And of course, this year it became, as more groups knew about it, it became extremely popular. And we're delighted to put back over $25,000 back into our community. So to benefit these groups. And as I said, it was schools, mainly PTAs, preschools, our Granges, 4-H clubs, of course, near and dear to our heart, and scouting groups participated. And it was a wonderful fundraiser for them. And I think lots of grandparents were just delighted to again, candy's wonderful, and as are hoagies, but it's something a little different. And so it's been quite the hit.
Thank you.
So we'll take a vote then. All those in favor of adopting the proclamation do so by saying aye.
Aye. Was there ever any doubt?
Oh, no, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
Thank you, and we'll
Again.
see you all at the great Grange Fair.
Thank you, Lee Don. We appreciate your time and all your work. Thank you so much. Okay. Our next item is our resolution, Resolution 14 of 2022, and we'll turn it over to John.
Thank you, Commissioner. Before you is a resolution approving the application requesting approval of an application for Snyder County to become a member of the CEDACOG Joint Rail Authority. As you know, Center County is a member of the Joint Rail Authority, and as part of that process of admitting a new member, all of the existing members basically passed a resolution accepting that new member in. This was reviewed by the county solicitor. There are no major issues or obstacles with this, and by having this, having Snyder County join, there would be no there's no cost sharing or any financial impact to the existing members.
And we do know that we have other county partners that are already members of the JRA. They also would have seen this resolution. It sounds like there's been a lot of approvals already.
Yes.
Everybody else is, within the JRA has approved, and so essentially we would be the remaining member to do so, and if we would, that would mean a 100% acceptance rate for all the counties.
Yes.
So I think it's good that our partners have already kind of led the way on this, and we just are sort of the caboose on this one, so.
It's not bad being the caboose.
Exactly. I had to throw that in there. But you're the incoming president, Commissioner Higgins, of CEDACOG.
Correct.
This is an affiliate organization, but anything you'd like to offer from CEDACOG?
Just wanted to thank CEDACOG staff and CEDACOG Joint Rail Authority for all their work on this. Nice to see that rail transportation is actually expanding in central Pennsylvania. And as you mentioned, there's no cost sharing, there's no financial impact to Center County government for this agreement. So, yeah, I think we should adopt the resolution. Shall I make the motion?
Please, absolutely,
All right.
please.
Motion to adopt resolution number 14 of 2022.
I will second that. It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on the resolution? Any questions? Okay. Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Okay. John, thank you, and we'll keep it with you for this next agreement.
Okay, before you is a professional services agreement with CMT Laboratories, as well as Pantera Engineering as a team, to provide a structural evaluation of the courthouse retaining walls. If you recall, in 2017, the walls were evaluated on a cursory level to see what may be needed from a structural as well as an aesthetic standpoint. As you know, there's a type of shotcrete that is currently the exterior facade of the retaining walls. It is assumed that behind that facade is a large limestone retaining wall, which basically holds up both streets on each side of the courthouse. The goal here would be to take some sample cores of the exterior concrete, test it for compressive strength, and then also evaluate exactly what is behind there that is actually the structural component of it, and check the integrity. This analysis they would then come back and give a suggested plan of course of action as far as what may be needed to not only make sure that the walls are structurally sound, but then also what could be done from an aesthetic standpoint on the exterior.
Sounds good, John. In terms of the timing of this, it seems like they'll be able to move on it fairly quickly in terms of the testing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. It could be as soon as we can sign this up, we would start talking about a schedule.
Fantastic. And then next steps potentially could look like, if you wanted to maybe just fill in what that next step, we get the samples back, and we might have some decisions for remediation of any structural issues.
Yes, I would, what the recommendation would be is that the testing CMT and Pantera would present to the commissioners a course of action and suggested things that we can do to remedy the wall and hopefully establish some type of an estimated budget as to what the actual work would cost.
Sounds good. All right. Any other questions?
And John, I believe, we don't have exact dates, but I believe some parts of this foundation might date back almost 200 years.
It goes way back. It goes back to the point where we had just drawings of the courthouse. So we did some historical digging to see exactly what may be there, and we're seeing that the original construction involved, it looks like just dry limestone boulders.
All right, well, hopefully that's very, very durable.
That's right.
They typically are.
Okay. We'll look for a motion to approve the professional services agreement at this time.
Motion to approve the professional services agreement with CMT Laboratories, Inc. and Pantera Engineering, Inc.
I will second that. It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion or questions on this? Okay. Hearing no further questions and seeing no further discussion, all those in favor do so by saying aye. Aye. Motion has carried. Okay, John, thanks again.
Thank you.
We will move into our planning and community development section. We'll welcome up Liz Luce to discuss an agreement with Baker Tilly. Good morning, Liz.
Good morning. In front of you this morning is a professional service agreement with Baker Tilly to provide auditing services to the Center County Public Training Safety Center for the equipment storage, building, and classroom facilities. This is being performed per the Department of Community and Economic Development's recipient requirements. Audit services are not to exceed $4,000 and are to be completed on or before October 31st, 2022. I don't know if you have any discussion or questions with this request.
I think this was one of the final things we needed to do to satisfy the grant requirements that we received the funds from the state. So this is sort of just checking one of those final boxes. And so, yeah, no, I don't think that we have any questions.
I know the commissioners worked hard on this one, and we kicked off the funding, but due to the size of the project we wanted to see built, thankfully we were able to get an additional grant from the state. And I know that facility is very heavily used at this point. A lot of sometimes multiple different training sessions happening in the building. And of course, now the equipment doesn't need to be repaired start to finish every spring either. So that's nice.
So I think we're good. Thank you, Liz,
Yeah, thank you.
for getting this across the finish line. Looking forward to, again, checking one of those final boxes for the project. Thank you. We'll look for a motion to add this to next week's consent agenda.
Motion to add the contract with Baker Tilly to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that. It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Thank you, Liz. Okay. And on another state grant, we'll welcome up Ray Stalinas. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning, Commissioners. This morning, we have payment number 5 for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Governor's Office of Budget for the Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program grant in the amount of $168,434 for Titan Energy Park. The total funding was awarded at $2.5 million, and thus far, $2.2 million has been paid to date. There is one amount remaining, that's $62,500 for retainage on the final audit for the project. We're asking that the Commissioners consider signing forms PR1 and PR1A for the payment number 5.
Okay. Thank you, Ray. Any questions or comments on this item?
Just to remind our citizens where Titan Park Plant 1 is, that's where Axman Brewery is, where Titan Hollow is, and Titan Markets. All 3 small businesses are, last time I checked, which just a couple weeks ago, doing very well and are quite busy. So, we thank the, the Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program for helping make that project a reality.
Absolutely. Well said. We'll look for a motion then to approve the submission.
Motion to approve submission of the application for payment.
I will second that. It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion or questions? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Ray, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, welcome up a Register of Wills, Christine Millender, for this next item. Good morning, Christine.
So Commissioners, you have before you a contract with RBA Professional Data Systems in the Register of Wills office. And what this contract is for, the Department of Health has made some changes to bring us up to, modern times. What happens is the software that we are using does not comply with their new state form and the questions that we need to ask. So these enhancements are costing the Register of Wills to be in effect September 1st to be in compliance with their new form. So I'm just asking that you approve this contract so that we can move forward immediately. We just got the changes last week, so we're kind of being pushed for this. There were multiple requests that the Clerks of Orphans Court went back to the state to make the form user-friendly for the people and for us to collaborate the information. So if you could approve that we could move forward and be in compliance September 1st, it would be greatly appreciated.
Sure, sounds good, Christine. Any questions or comments? Seems straightforward. Okay, we'll look for a motion then.
Motion to approve the contract with RBA Professional Data Systems.
And I will second that. Any further questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Sure. Okay, we'll welcome up Beth Leckman for item for our Elections and Voter Registration Office for purchase of some new technology. Good morning, Beth.
Good morning, Commissioners. I would just like to ask for approval for the purchase of the 4 Dell laptops and 5 Dell desktops in order to meet the requirements for the new SureVote system. The SureVote system will be fully implemented December of 2022, and the total for the equipment is $12,314.21, and it will be covered under the 2022 Election Security Grant.
Thank you, Beth. We should note that we've actually received a few pots of money from the state, and this is not the new election integrity grant that was proposed, but this is actually separate money. If you could talk a little bit about how much we received there and what we can use it on.
Correct. This is the election security grant that was applied for in June of this year, and the funds from this grant must be used permissible expenditures acquiring, so it has to be used on personal computers that meet the requirements for SureVote, mobile devices or tokens necessary to conform to the Commonwealth's multi-factor authentication standard, physical security devices to protect critical infrastructure, and monitoring or detection tools to identify or mitigate threats to the county's election. So there were specific uses that this grant must be used for, and being that the SureVote system is going to be rejuvenated and implemented in December, our best use for this was to buy the equipment necessary with all of the upgrades.
Sounds good. Just wanted to make that distinction. Thank you for clarifying that for our citizens. Appreciate it. Any other questions or comments? No. Okay, we'll look for a motion.
Motion to add the purchase of Dell computer equipment to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that. It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion, questions? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Thank you, Beth.
Thank you.
Moving into our human services items, we'll welcome up Julia Sprinkle and Leah Raker to discuss and present our needs-based budget for the 2023-2024 fiscal year. Good morning to both of you.
So we are asking for approval of our needs-based budget 23-24 budget. When we looked at the numbers, the total budget that we are requesting from the state will be $14,360,966, with the county share being $2,699,852, which is about an increase of $52,721 over our 22-23 ask. The majority of that increase is going to be in the salary and benefits, so working off of the Archer study and the increased salaries and benefits that we saw in there. So moving forward, that was the primary driver of that increase. We did not add in any new services. We did not add in any new additional staff, really trying to focus on our base, what we've been doing, continue to do what we've been doing. And also in there is a slight increase at the request of our partners and essential partners in all of this as the providers, and helping them be able to pay their staff as well, because we rely so heavily on them.
Thank you, Julia.
Nothing additional to add. Julia covered it all.
Okay. And then in terms of funds that we had requested in the 22-23 needs-based budget for potential renovations, that is carried over essentially, and we're still requesting that in this budget.
Correct. We'll
Okay.
look to carry that over, and since we didn't spend it in 22, we'll not be spending it in 22-23, but we'll look to spend it in 23-24. We'll roll it over, ask that it be rolled over and included in our 23-24 allocation ask.
Okay, just just wanted to double check. We had met previously last week and just wanted to just double check on that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Any other questions or comments?
No, thanks for explaining the budget in such detail. It's one of the most interesting of our 53 budgets.
It
It's
is
lengthy.
Absolutely, absolutely. There are different requirements for each of our departments. This one is certainly unique. Upon approval of this, we essentially have our 23 budget for your office and a little bit of 24 approved already. So it's probably one of the, all of our departments are forward-looking, but this is one of the ones that's almost in stone, essentially, when we go forward with our budget process that's starting here and will be wrapping up by the end of this year for next year. So we appreciate all the work that goes into it, the whole team and CYS. We know that you represent them all well today, so thank you both very much. Any questions, comments? Okay, all right. We will look for a motion then.
I just wanted to thank their staff for the very, very difficult job they do 24/7, 365. So we'd like to make the motion to approve the fiscal year 23-24 needs-based budget for children and youth services.
I will second that. It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion or questions? Okay, seeing and hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Thank you both. Thank you.
And thank you for your support and
Oh.
always mentioning banking percent.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
We will welcome up Natalie Corman to discuss our remaining human services items. Good morning, Natalie.
Morning. So the first item is our accepting of our medical assistance transportation program allocation for this fiscal year 22-23 for the Office of Transportation in the amount of $830,750. That is a $51,506 increase from this past year's allocation. Part of that is due to rate increases, but it's also in part due to service usage by individuals that are eligible under MATP. So it's a combination of both, is giving us that increased allocation for the year.
Okay, thank you, Natalie. Any questions or comments on this? Okay. We will look for a motion to add it to next week's consent.
Motion to add the medical assistance transportation program allocation for the state fiscal year 22-23 to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that. It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion or questions? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. We'll go into our meeting.
So the next one is a lease renewal agreement with John and Tammy Myers. They provide us with the space down in Madisonburg for our Madisonburg Senior Center, or Penns Valley Senior Center, actually, as we call it. So this lease is going to run from November 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2025. The department is really trying to align a lot of their leases now really with their state fiscal years. And so that's why you kind of see November 1, the first half will be November 1 to June 30th, then July 1 and July 1. And so we have it for 3 years with the additional, to do 2 additional 1-year leases. So we could go up to 5 years if we need to. But we put 2% increases in those across the fiscal years. And they have been great landlords to us. They actually just recently did some renovations to the unit down in Penns Valley. And, the participants there really appreciate the investment that they have put into that space.
Fantastic. Okay. Any questions, comments on this?
I think that's the one that's just down the street from Fisher's, right?
Yeah, it is right there along 192, tucked back behind the post office.
We'll look for a motion to add it to next week's consent agenda.
Motion to add the lease agreement with John and Tammy Myers to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that. It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion, questions? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Okay.
Sure. So I'm going to break some of these up for MHID. So for the first one is an addendum for Site and Clear. We were able to do some year-end fiscal to provide an additional $4,600. Their contract had gone over due to usage for family-based services. So that is going back to July 1, 2021 to June 30th, 2022, as we are finishing up that fiscal year. The second one is an MOU between the Behavioral Health Alliance of Rural Pennsylvania and ourselves. We are one of 24 counties that are in with the BHARP. This is our contract hold with Community Care Behavioral Health, our managed care company. I came to you probably a year and a half ago as we negotiated our contract with Community Care. We now own that contract as the 24 counties. Because of that, we have the admin rights to the work that we do on behalf of managed care services. And so with this MOU now gives us the ability to draw down time that we spend specifically dealing with health choices services, to recoup some of that back into admin because it was built that way in our contract with CCBH. And so this MOU outlines what we can bill our time for, and how we do that, plus the overall responsibilities of being one of those 24 counties, the commitment we have to do to data reporting and being an active county when it comes to discussing services that our managed care company provides. But this is new for us to have this opportunity, really. Kathy Arbogast, in particular, is the BHARP Executive Chair Committee, so she spends quite a bit of her time assisting with these managed care services, and this is a way for us to actually recoup some of that admin time back. And then contracts 3 through 10 are all renewals this year for us, all of them specific under our Human Services Block Grant Plan, which you'll be approving in a little bit. But these are all specifically really in line with a lot of our mental health services. We have outpatient, we have residential, we have our legal representation, both Steve Wicks and Marianne Crescent for us are in that. And then our Eagle Valley Personal Care Home and our Eagle View Personal Care Home are always two that we highlight just for this year. Commitment they have. I mean, I think we're now up to 14 beds through these through this Eagle family, so to speak, providing supportive living services for us, and that is incredibly important for us to have that opportunity. And so, just wanted to highlight those two. Number 11 is a linkage agreement, as we have been doing these kind of across the Commonwealth, just showing that we have built-in relationships. This one in particular is with Penn Highlands Du Bois, who do child adolescent care, and that's an important one to us. We actually have quite a bit of a relationship with Penn Highlands Du Bois. And then the last one is for Surveymonkey. We particularly use this for some of the subcommittees that we work on. You know, we have the communities that care group, they use Surveymonkey. Sometimes our LICC does. This is our Surveymonkey do it, but we do allow other departments to use it if they would have a one-time need to do a survey.
Thank you, Natalie. Just jumping back to that MOU.
Sure.
So just in terms of the funding for that, those funds are through, how are those?
So they are generated through the our community care behavioral health managed care company, right? The services that we pay for, there is an admin piece into that BHARP can take down, being our overall entity, and then we build in the opportunity for us to have drawn down part of those admin dollars for the work that the counties have to do to represent themselves. So it's all through medical assistance, managed care dollars.
Okay, so the community care has those funds from, they're generated from the federal government, state government? Okay.
Yes, and then, you know, the usage of our services, all the services that are allowable within managed care, and then just that contract hold that they get for being the chosen provider to these 24 counties. There's a built-in cost of business to do that.
And they're available to all the members of BHARP?
Yes, so all 24 counties will be doing these MOUs right now. And then we all, based on kind of our usage of time, we have to document the time that we spend on meetings. Once a month, there's usually about a 4 to 5 hour all counties meetings that we do, plus additional data quality network meetings that staff do.
And last question, is it offsetting costs, or will it be able to provide, we would be able to provide more services?
So I think this is offsetting costs for us. However, since it's new for us, as we kind of get into reporting that money to the state, it could allow us the opportunity to say, if we cover our admin with this, can we shift some admin dollars from the state over to cover it? So since it's still new for us, we initially will do admin, but it could potentially look different in the future.
The whole journey to get to this has been a while, so it's great to see this. So thanks for all the work that's been done on this, and we love the fact that we're able to offset some costs potentially. So this is great. Any other questions or comments?
I'd just like to re-highlight contracts 9 and 10 with Eagle Valley and Eagle View Personal Care Homes. Great partnership with them. And I know we talk about 14 beds, but that means there's at least 14 families in Center County where their loved one is here, convenient, receiving care that they can easily check up on whenever they would like. But great organization. I remember when they were evacuating residents during the floods of October 22nd, 2016, carrying people to the county buses. That's dedication.
Yeah, we could not have asked for a better partner that really, on paper, right, has not been an original partner of mental health services, but they recognized that they could fill a need for residents of Center County and have really stepped up. We expanded we went from 11 to 14 in the last fiscal year. So they are consistently looking for opportunities, knowing that we can support as much as we can with our state budget. Residential is one of those areas that we would love to expand if we get additional revenue. And so we're able to do that with their guidance. Thank you.
So with that, we'll look to move these to next week's consent agenda.
Motion to add the mental health, intellectual disability, early interventions, items 1 through 12 to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that. It's been moved and seconded. Any final questions or comments? Okay. Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. The motion is carried. Thank you again,
Yeah, thank
Natalie.
you.
Thank you. All right. Carrie Hull is walking up to the podium now for criminal justice planning, and just a technical, we're getting more time for a grant, which is good, but we just
Yes.
need to recognize that. So, Carrie.
Yes, thank you. I'm here today to ask the board to consider signing a revised work statement with the Pennsylvania Department of Health, Office of Drug Surveillance and Misuse Prevention, to extend the grant period until October 31st, 2022 for the Overdose Fatality Review Team project. So if you recall, you signed that agreement, the original work statement back in May. The Department of Health was supposed to provide the counties that signed on to this grant project with technical assistance. They had staff changeover, and we didn't receive any technical support. So they have, on their end, agreed to offer us more time to the existing counties. And I believe Indiana, Westmoreland, Monroe, Schuylkill, and Fayette are also involved in this project. So, yeah, we're glad they offered us some more time to complete the project with their assistance.
Okay. Thank you, Carrie. Any questions or comments? Okay. We will look for a motion then.
It's a long one.
Sure.
Motion to approve Carrie Hall, Criminal Justice Planning Director, to submit a grant application to the Pennsylvania Department of Health Office of Drug Surveillance and Misuse Prevention to provide support in the development of a localized overdose fatality review team.
I will second that. It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on this? Questions? Okay. Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. Carrie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have before us our consent agenda for approval. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve this week's consent agenda.
I will second that. It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. The motion is carried. Okay. And we'll turn it over to you, Commissioner, for a check run.
Sure, substantially smaller than average check run in the amount of $607,028.76. For the check or checks of the week, I've chosen Center Helps, 2 checks totaling $3,640.87 for some behavioral health and emergency rental assistance support. So would like to make a motion to approve the check run dated August 12th.
I will second that. It's been moved and seconded to approve the check run. Any final discussion on the check run? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. The motion has carried. Okay. John, anything to report?
Nothing to report at this time.
Okay. Under our ABCs, we will look for a motion to appoint myself as the Commissioner Liaison to the Center County Agricultural Land Preservation Board. I know there's been some conflicts in our schedule.
Yes.
And I'm happy to serve as this. I served previously, and Commissioner Higgins has served very ably for the last 7 years. So happy to return to my old stomping grounds. So, yeah.
No problem. I'll have to update my Facebook page and take one of those authorities, boards and commissions off the list. So yes, thank you, Mike, for
No,
relieving my trying to be 2 places at the same time for multiple times a year. So motion to appoint Commissioner Michael Pipe as Commissioner Liaison to the Center County Agricultural Land Preservation Board.
And I will second that. I, again, appreciate the opportunity to serve, and I'm not getting any remuneration for this. So
No.
I will be voting in favor of it. So as you well know.
Yes.
Yeah, so, okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Okay. We will have a voter registration report again next week. We have no announcements today, additional, but executive sessions to report or hold. John?
No executive sessions to report, however, there's a need to meet in executive session to discuss personnel matters.
Okay. At the we'll do it as part of this meeting? Okay, sounds good. All right, we have the balance of our public meeting schedule here. Before we look to go into executive session, any final questions? Gary or Peyton? Yeah.
Well, there's been some funding conflict in Walker Township between the fire department and the township. Basically, the fire department is requesting about $1 million to continue their services over the coming years. But the township has yet to agree to that. So tonight they're having a public meeting to discuss with the community. Just curious to hear your recommendations for both parties as they kind of navigate this conflict.
As much dialogue as possible is always good. If the way the fire service funding works in a municipal level is where the supervisors in this instance can designate a certain amount, a millage, and provide that to the fire department. As much as they can communicate and appreciate what that decision would mean, the better. But as we saw with the EMS funding crisis, some services here locally and across the state have had to say to their residents, look, if we don't see an increase in funding, either from the local municipalities we partner with or the state or even the federal government with reimbursements, we may curtail services. And so it's a hard conversation to have, but it's a reality. And so I think the fire department's going about it the right way. And hopefully, again, there's dialogue that they can have with the supervisors to improve the situation.
Any comment ahead of tonight's planning commission meeting, just talking about the re-entry of the Bellefonte or Benner warehouse plans?
Sure. I think the things that the planning commission, we as commissioners have offered has been, we have questions that I think in any development like this, one of the largest we've ever had in the county, is really what are the impacts, and this is typically asked of any project, but certainly for this magnitude and scale it's important, is what is the traffic situation going to look like? What are some of the environmental impacts? From a employment standpoint, we have record unemployment. Where are the workers going to be coming to work in the facility, and also housing? What is the impact going to be on the housing? And so those questions have been asked to the developer to get their responses. Ultimately, they've been in conformity with the land development plan. They've been checking all the boxes there. But there are questions that just in terms of what this would mean for the community that would be helpful as we move forward. But in terms of the approval, not seeing anything that'll stop the approval tonight for the land development plan. Sure.
Is the county aware you have the hotel across from the Penn State Credit? That stretch of Benner Pike is getting to be quite busy. Is the county aware of any other development plans in the works for that section of Benner Township?
There have been some initial conversations. There have not been any formal plans that have been submitted. If there were any formal plans submitted, we would certainly have those in front of us for review and approval at this meeting, but there have been no formal plans that have been submitted.
Subjects. Has there been any other talks with State College Borough about the census review from the 2020 census? Or are you waiting for more information from the Census Bureau?
Sure. Holding pattern at this point, the borough, I think, is going to be taking the lead on it from the conversations we've had with State College. The impact is more relevant to them. It's a very high bar to get over, but we're constantly talking with them. And the runway for this is into next year, so there's plenty of time for us to look at this.
When is the next vote to set the salaries for county elected officials?
By the end of September, we will have that vote occurring. We're working currently to have the public hearing that's necessary to hear from our residents, anybody who is interested in that, to come forward and offer their thoughts and to set that. But it'll be done by September. It needs to be legally done by the end of December, but we'll be taking care of it earlier on.
John, on the County Courthouse Foundation study, has there been recent signs of some concern, or is the county looking to do some other work there? Or I'm just trying to get a better idea of the timing for the study now.
The retaining walls they're showing some signs of spalling, where the facade is breaking away, and that's typically a sign of water infiltrating in behind the concrete. So we're looking to see exactly what the extent of that infiltration is behind the facade. So by taking a sample, we'll be able to get a better view of just how extensive that erosion may be behind that initial facade.
So at this point, a minor issue, would you say? People are going to hear this and think the courthouse is falling down or anything like that.
No, it's, there does not appear to be any structural deterioration. It's all cosmetic at this, what it appears to be. So we want to get ahead of it before there would be any issues. If it's a limestone wall that's behind there, that's been standing all this time, there's no shifting or anything of that nature that's occurring. So I'm not anticipating anything of a big concern. I'm anticipating it to be mostly cosmetic.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Peyton. We will look for a motion to go into executive session for a personnel matter at this time.
Motion to recess for executive session at 10:47.
I will second that. It's been moved and seconded to go into executive session at this time. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Thank you all very much.